time, on a peaceful farm surrounded by green meadows and quiet ponds, a mother duck sat patiently on her nest. The warm summer sun shone down on her feathers as she waited for her eggs to hatch. After many days, she finally heard a gentle crack, crack, crack. One by one, 6 little ducklings pushed out of their shells. They were tiny, yellow, and full of life, chirping and tumbling around her feet. The mother duck smiled with pride. But there was still one egg left. It was larger than the others, with a harder shell. She waited and waited. Finally, the big egg began to shake and split open. Out came a duckling, but he was not like the others. He was bigger, his feathers were gray, and his neck was longer. The mother duck looked at him in surprise, but she still loved him, because he was her child. The next day, the mother duck took her babies to the pond for their first swim. All the ducklings jumped into the water and paddled happily. Even the strange gray duckling swam perfectly. But when they met the other farm animals, everyone began to whisper and laugh. "The new duckling looks so odd," said the chickens. "The color of his feathers is strange," said the cat. Even his brothers and sisters started to tease him. Wherever he went, someone made fun of his looks. Days turned into weeks, and the gray duckling felt lonelier and sadder. He tried to join the games, but nobody wanted to play with him. He often sat alone by the pond, watching the clear water ripple and dreaming of being somewhere else, somewhere he belonged. One night, while the moon was shining over the fields, the little duckling made a brave decision. He would leave the farm and find a place where he could be happy. Quietly, he slipped through the fence and walked away into the dark. He traveled across wide meadows, through forests, and along rivers. He met many other animals, frogs, cows, horses, and birds, but none of them accepted him. Everyone said the same thing: "You don't belong here." As summer faded into autumn, the leaves turned red and gold. The duckling was amazed by the beauty of the world, yet he still felt lost. One evening, he looked up and saw a group of large white birds flying high in the sky. They were so elegant, so graceful, and they shone in the sunlight like angels. He didn't know they were swans, but something deep inside him told him he wanted to be like them. When winter came, everything changed. The ponds froze, and snow covered the ground. The duckling had nowhere to go. He tried to hide under bushes and in empty barns, shivering from the cold. Sometimes kind farmers threw him crumbs of bread, but most days he was hungry. Nights were long and lonely, and he often cried quietly in the dark, wishing he could fly away like those beautiful white birds. Finally, after many long, cold months, the sun returned. The snow melted, flowers bloomed, and warm winds blew across the land. The duckling had survived the hardest season of his life. His feathers had grown strong, his wings wider, and his heart braver. One morning, he wandered to a nearby lake surrounded by blooming trees. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and on its surface glided a family of swans, the same kind of birds he had seen in the sky months ago. Their necks were long and curved, their feathers pure white, and their movements calm and proud. The duckling felt both joy and fear. He wanted to join them, but he was afraid they would laugh at him too, like everyone else had. Still, he couldn't resist. Slowly, he stepped toward the water and looked down. For the first time in his life, he saw his reflection clearly. But what he saw made him gasp. The gray, awkward duckling was gone. In his place was a strong, beautiful white swan. His feathers shone like snow, and his reflection matched the other swans perfectly. At that moment, the swans noticed him. They swam over gracefully, and to his surprise, they welcomed him warmly. They did not see him as different. He was one of them all along. The young swan felt tears of happiness in his eyes. He stretched his long neck, opened his wings, and rose into the bright blue sky. The wind carried him higher and higher as he flew with the others over sparkling rivers and golden fields. He had finally found where he belonged. The long journey, the pain, and the loneliness had led him to discover the truth. That beauty isn't about how you look, but about who you are and what you become through your struggles. From that day forward, the once ugly duckling was never sad again. He had turned into a magnificent swan, graceful, strong, and free. And every spring, when he saw a small gray duckling by the pond, he smiled kindly, remembering the time when he too was searching for his place in the world.